Annyeonghaseyo, welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Lia, Megan, and Amy, three American romance novelists discussing all things K-romance from a writer's lens. We fangirl over our favorite actors and actresses, talk up our trope addictions, and nerd out on K-drama deep dives. We'll throw in a few K-pop and K-skincare recs for good measure, because why not ride the Hallyu wave all the way to shore? So grab some tteokbokki and listen to your new favorite unnies.
Hey everybody.
Hello.
Hi there.
How is everyone today?
I don't know what day it is.
It's really cold here, and I know that like leading with the weather is not, you know,
what's
very
really
interesting.
What's really cold to you?
Yeah.
Tell me what you think is cold, and then.
So I rode my bike today to work and home, and it was 51 degrees.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
And I had to wear a vest.
Oh, you poor you. I would kill for
It's 19. 19.
That's terrible.
That's masochistic.
It's like supposed to snow here in the next
It's
2
been
days.
snowing. We have a winter weather advisory right now. Fantastic. I love weather.
All right. Well, Megan, you said that you had some things to share,
Okay.
and you know my anticipation when Megan's like, "I've got something to talk about."
Oh my gosh, and I have an add-on. I have a boat add-on, so
Oh,
go.
no, this is just a quick story about how my morning started. Okay, so
I'm already laughing.
I know. So I like to order my groceries on Instacart. Okay, I know that's kind of the lazy way, but
I do groceries online. There's no
it's
apology.
it's the easiest
no
thing for me.
apologies.
Okay, so I ordered my groceries on Instacart this morning, like early, and I hadn't had breakfast yet, mainly because we didn't like have any food in the house, and I was like, I'll wait till the groceries come and then have my bagel. And I was really surprised at how like fast it, like I ordered it, and then in like half an hour they were like, we're delivering your groceries, and I was like, awesome. And I get a text that's like, your groceries are delivered. And I'm like, great, I'm hungry for my bagel. And I go down to my front porch and there's no fucking groceries there. And so I open up the email because they take a picture. I don't know what grocery apps other people use, but in Instacart, they take a picture of your grocery bags on your front porch. So I actually looked at the picture, which I don't always. I looked at the picture and then I was like, that's not my fucking front porch.
So they brought it somewhere else?
So here's the thing. I live my house is a new build, okay? But it's just attached on to like an existing development. Like basically they just extended the road and I'm just sort of like up the street. So GPS doesn't recognize like where I am, but like I've ordered Instacart a million times and they figure it out. Like they clearly can see, oh, I, just need to drive up the street and look for the like letters on the light post. And I can find the address, but this person was just like, fuck it. she just like dropped our groceries on a stranger's house. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm not dressed. I like hurry on, put on my clothes, and I'm like, I don't know where it is. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, she just took a picture of the front porch, so I'm like, so I'm like creeping down the street like an old woman, like hunched over. Like,
oh my God, so you went down like looking for your groceries?
Yes, because I'm like,
how many bags was it?
A lot.
Like, did you need the car to get them?
Yeah, I had to take my car. I had to get my clothes on really quick, like shove my feet in shoes. And like, I know this is like first world problems, but I was like, oh my God, I got to get my, like we paid for them.
Right.
And it's like groceries on someone else's porch. So I like turned the corner at the bottom of the hill and I'm like still driving. And I was like, I started to panic a little bit. I'm like, please tell me they're like on my street. And then finally I look over and I see like the white grocery bags, the white plastic grocery bags on a porch that was like kind of far from my house. So and their door is open, like meaning they're like, their front door is open.
They were funneling your groceries.
Or the moral of the story is, or the punchline is going to be that Megan stole somebody's groceries.
No, I didn't. So I felt like I had to knock.
Yeah.
Because like their door, I couldn't just like take the groceries off the front porch.
Like jogging while you
multiple trips too. Like
absolutely. I multiple trips. I couldn't. That would be super freaky. So I had to like knock, and they come to the front door, and they're just kind of like looking at me. It's like an older man and wife, and I was like, "These are my groceries." And the guy, like, I didn't know what to say. And the guy was like, "Okay," and I was like, "So I'm just gonna put them in my car."
Thank you and good day, sir.
And he's like, "Okay." So I'm like, then I'm starting to like get sweaty, like. I'm like panicking because I just feel so weird. Like, so I'm like running and putting the groceries in the car, and I go back and I grab too many bags at one time. I reach the sidewalk and I hear this like glass shattering, and it's this massive jar of pickles that my husband wanted fell out of the bag, smashed all over their side.
Oh my God.
No,
on their sidewalk? You smashed
broke
pickles. Pickles and glass.
Pickles and glass. So I'm like, with my hand.
You didn't like then just like gut it away, did you?
Well,
oh my God.
So were there more bags still to get after that?
No, this was the last bag. So with my hand, I just like glob pickles and throw them in the bag, pick up the glass with my bare hand, throw it in the bag, and then I'm just like looking at the like spilled pickle juice, and I just kind of like swipe it with my foot. Like, what? Like, can I borrow your hose to spray the pickle juice off your side?
Remember me? I'm the grocery lady.
So I just kind of like swiped it away, and like they did, and then I like looked up at the house. I'm like, maybe they're gonna see me, and but then they didn't, and then I just like a bandit like ran in my car and drove away, and now my car reeks like pickles. Reeks like pickles because the bag was like torn. There's pickle juice all over the back of my car, and I didn't clean it up because
No way. So your car just smells like pickles now?
Oh yeah, I didn't clean it yet.
Your car smells like pickles forever now.
And then Neil was like, and then I get in the house, and I'm like, the pickle jar broke. Like, just the trauma that I've just been through. Okay. The trauma. And all he goes is, my pickles broke? Well, those, don't tell me they're Clausen. Those are like $6. And I was like, you can take your fucking Clausen pickles and shove them up your ass, okay? With the broken glass, because they just went in the trash. Because I scooped them up with my bare hands off the sidewalk. And now I like feel guilty. I'm like, should I go back to the house? Like,
no, do not ever go to that. You don't have a block party. Like, you can't ever talk to these people again.
I know. And they don't know where I live, because it's not like I was like, this is my address. I was just like, these are my groceries. And he just like took my word for it. I mean, I don't blame him. What else are you gonna do?
Oh my God.
There's no receipt. So anyway, that was my morning. That was my pickle trauma. Now I just don't want pickles.
I've had that happen where I've had groceries delivered to the wrong house, and I've like called the person back and been like, you said you delivered my groceries. You did not deliver my groceries. And like,
right.
They mixed up I live in like a loop of townhomes. So luckily it was somebody like the next house over, but he put them, it was my next door neighbor who I know really well. Thank goodness. But her garage was open because her son was outside playing. And mind you, this is like very early on in COVID, where like nobody's like going in anybody's house or anything.
Yeah. Right.
And he's like, well, I thought it was the house with the open garage, so I just piled all the bags in the garage. So I had to go into her, he put the bags in the garage. And so I'm like, her son's playing outside, and I know him, and he's like, he's like a year older than my son. And I'm like, Jack, somebody just put my groceries in your garage. So I'm just going to go get them. Okay. He's like, all right. But the guy walked inside. I never said put him in my garage. Like it always says put it in front of my door. Also, here's what Instacart people will do. I will say, can you put it by the front door? Right? Like, cause they're like, do you want it in front of the garage or the front door? I'm like, in front door. Now, when you say put the groceries in front of the front door, don't you assume that the person delivering understands that you will need to open the door to get the groceries?
Oh, they just like pile them right in front, and then you can't
open the door. Like more often than not.
Right.
But anyway, my trauma is nothing compared to yours, so.
Well, I'm just saying, I've never had that issue. Like, they've never delivered it to the wrong house. Anyway,
right.
So now I'm traumatized. Now I'm going to go to the grocery store
And you've never broken pickles on
on somebody else's sidewalk, right.
I'm going to have to physically shop again now, like a savage.
To go get pickles for Neil. To get him his stupid Clausen. You should take that up with Instacart, actually. You should.
I will. But that's another thing. Neil's like, you need to take it up with them. And I was like, okay, I will. But
you can do it without having to talk to anybody, Megan. You can just do it on the app.
Right. I was like, right now, I just need to like I told him, I said, I just want to sit and eat because I finally can eat my breakfast. And I do kind of feel bad. Like, I do feel bad. Like, she shopped for me. She just got the wrong address.
I know. But it was you paid for her to get that wrong address. Like, Instacart is a big markup.
I know.
So I just need to like tag a little something on because I'm never going to let go of the boat thing. So if you haven't listened to the Happiness podcast where Megan was telling Leah and I how she went on a cruise to the Bahamas and couldn't bring her snacks with her, and Leah and I were very confused because we know that cruises are full of food, and Megan revealed, well, no, this cruise was only like 2.5 hours long. And then we got into a whole thing of, well, you took a ferry ride from Florida to the Bahamas. And then last podcast, Megan found her scrapbooking of Discovery Cruise Line's one and only ship. Right? One and only,
which is now scavenged for scrap
in like Bangladesh, right? Something like that.
Thanks to Leah.
So anyway, so Megan showed us a picture of the boat, and it looked like if I owned a big yacht, a 2-story yacht.
It's like a mini.
It was a very small cruise ship. So I was in New York over the weekend. And as a joke, like there was a big like Norwegian cruise line ship that was like 16 stories high, had water slides on the top, and I took a picture and sent it to Megan and Leah. Like I was like, here's a cruise ship. But like, I mean, that was like a monster, but that's not even what I'm talking about. So we were just driving along the water. I've been on the Staten Island ferry. I did not go on it this trip, but I got to see it from shore. And the Staten Island ferry, you know, our bus tour guy was like, oh, and there's the Staten Island ferry, which is free to ride back and forth from Staten Island. And my kids and I did that the last time we were in New York. And I'm looking at this ferry and I'm like, that is bigger than Megan's cruise ship. And I know that listeners, you can't see it, but I just pulled up a picture of it.
Oh shit,
that's the Staten Island ferry that is free to ride. And I bet you they sell snacks on it or let you bring your peanut butter pretzels or peanut butter crackers, sorry. But I was like, oh damn, like that is a ferry for sure. Like it says Staten Island ferry and it's a very big boat. Yeah.
Well, when you listen to this, I'll have posted photos on Instagram of my quote cruise just to get listener feedback. Neil's very excited about it. He's like, did you post the photos yet? And I was like, no, the episode isn't out yet. I will.
So yeah, if you're just listening now, please go check our Instagram for the Megan's ferry ferry photos. Ferry, Ferry, a boat that just transports you from one place to the next. It's not about the ride. It's not about the journey. It is about the destination. On that note, should we get on to our journey for the day?
Yes. I'm ready. So today we are going to discuss Singles Inferno, which is the Korean dating reality show that was on Netflix. And also just kind of like dating reality shows in general. So Leah and I have seen Singles Inferno, and Amy has like zero desire to see Singles Inferno.
Or any dating show.
So part of this, really any dating show. So part of this podcast is us trying to convince her why Singles Inferno is actually like a damn good watch.
And you at home listening. And I mean, I feel a deep sense of shame that we're even trying to make this pitch. And yet I do feel committed to the process.
Me too. Well, for those who have not seen Singles Inferno or haven't heard of it, let's just give you the Netflix pitch.
Please
do. Yeah. Stranded and ready to mingle, 9 young, flirty Korean singles search for love on a deserted island that they can only escape as couples for date nights on their new island paradise. So...
dang.
That sums it up.
So, okay, I just need to give a little context. So I saw Singles Inferno, like, floating around Netflix. I honestly didn't even realize it was Korean. It just kind of was, like, a show that was, like, washing past me. And my sister contacted me and was like, yo, like, bro, you need to watch this whatever. Like, whatever this is. Like, reality dating television show. And I was like,
yeah,
you know what? Like, no judgment on what you like. Like, you get that show and you enjoy it, and I am so happy that is like your journey. And I was like, I'm just like, it's not for me. And then I don't remember. I think I like had just watched, I think I had just rewatched Reply 1988 and was like, I just maybe need like a palate cleanser to just like have a night and like, you know, recalibrate. And, you know, there it was, this tempting little morsel. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to like check out the first episode and like see what the hell. And that was it. Like, I was like, well, that just took over my life for like 2 solid evenings. I was like,
I know, right?
And so then, yeah, I was like, Megan, this is like, I don't know what is in this. Like, there's something in the soju here because like I cracked out on it.
Yeah. Well, I would say too, I did not realize it was a Korean show as well. The banner graphic, I guess I would say, is literally just abs. Like abs, like female and male abs. So that's like all you see, first of all. And the colors, like everything is very Bachelor-esque. They were clearly marketing towards the network reality dating shows in America.
And like the raunchy, like just like white folks fucking in a hot tub. That was the vibe that I felt like they like led with. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And so here's the dilemma is I actually had feelings watching this drama.
Right.
And it was, you know, we're going to get into it. And while, like, Amy, this is like the pitch for you. While it clearly has like, you know, some manufactured elements to it, there's something different happening here.
Yeah. What we should say first is, Amy, look, like reality dating shows, yes, no, or maybe so. What are your thoughts?
So Leah just kind of hit the nail on the head there with the manufactured elements. Like, I don't watch any reality TV at all. It's never been my thing, except for, I think maybe once I watched, back in my married days, I think my husband and I watched, it's like it was either The Amazing Race or like, they had like a Treasure Hunters one that was like for
Amazing Race.
Yeah,
is really cool,
like so, like stuff like that's more of a competition type thing appealed to me more. But yeah, I've never watched a reality dating show because to me the word reality is not accurate at all. Like it's very scripted, very manufactured, and yeah, I don't know. It does not hook me in the least. So no, nope.
And that's fair. I will say I have not watched reality dating shows for years. Okay, but I used to watch reality dating shows like in the early days sort of the genre, or the early-ish. So I've mentioned this before on the podcast. But
You're a cultural historian.
Oh, it's so bad. I know. Look, I'm hipster about my reality dating shows. But I used to watch Rock of Love with Bret Michaels and Flava of Love with Flava Flav on VH1. I mean, they were my jam. Yeah, I also
Does
say
VH1
like Bret Michaels
still exist?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
But I don't even know what they do anymore. But anyway, I was a huge fan of Poison. And Bret Michaels is the lead singer of
Every
Poison.
rose has its thorn.
Yep. So I even rewatch like episodes on YouTube sometimes from these shows. Like I follow a few of them still on Instagram, like some of the contestants. And these truly were like the Wild West of reality dating shows because they were on cable and not a network. So they definitely did like more than the network shows would. I mean, they were still pure entertainment that made me feel like I had to shower afterward. I mean, they were just I don't know. So I can still remember the epic Pumpkin and New York fight. And so, yes, those were their names.
You're just like tossing that out like I'm
I know. I know. It, like, just because I'm hoping
Pumpkin
there's like
and
one
New
person
York
out
are
there.
people?
Yes. Because Flava Flav, when you would enter his house, he would give you nicknames just on the spot. You know, he's just clearly a genius. He just named one Pumpkin and one New York. And they had a reality TV, like, legendary fight. And yeah, so I remember that. Anyway, just good times. But I haven't watched any in a really long time because, to be honest, like The Bachelor doesn't interest me or anything. So it's just that's why I was like a little hesitant to watch Singles Inferno because I haven't watched anything like that in a long time.
And okay, no, I in this odd sense, I'm maybe in the middle, but more Amy. I mean, like really, it's a no for me. I like even hearing you say the words like flavor of love It's just a no. Like, I feel like it's like taking a Dorito bag that's empty and then just like licking it with like the flat of your tongue and just being like, that's the feeling I get when I think about that.
What kind of description?
However that made you feel is how I feel.
Okay, fair.
But what does have a place in my heart, so I'm not going to throw all reality TV under my butt, is under my butt. I was like, what? It's been a long day. I'm really tired.
I was like, maybe that's a new expression.
Yeah, I just coined it. I mean, I need to, what's it called? What's the fart jar thing?
NFT.
I need to NFT.
Yeah.
NFT under the butt.
Okay. So what I really love, though, and this makes me, like, not old for this world, but, like, feeling elderly, feeling like I've been feeling like I've been around for a little while, is the old Real Worlds.
Oh yeah, of course.
So not what Real World became, but like the original.
Absolutely.
The first seasons. And so,
like when Pedro was on from San Francisco.
Yes, and then Pam and Judd from San Francisco and like their love story. That felt like
the best.
I mean, look, I haven't like done any like background digging to see what elements of Real World were real back then, but it did feel more kind of like a psychological experiment for like that New York and San Francisco times. Mm-hmm. And then that's when they got into, what was the other one where they had like the van that they would drive around all the time?
Road Rules. Yes.
I was obsessed with those.
So I did watch both of those. That was like my late teens, early 20s. And I totally was into that. But like, to me, that was different because it's not a dating show. Like right. Exactly. Dating shows very different to me.
Yeah.
I just want to say real quick that on my spring break cruise, once we got to the Bahamas, part of our trip was there were members of Road Rules there. So, like, I have pictures of Ace and Derek. If anyone remembers who they are, I have pictures of them. They were on the stage in the Bahamas. Okay, keep going.
Megan and I have both admitted on a previous podcast also that we watched Jackass. So, like, I'm not immune to all reality TV, but apparently though, Jackass is my jam. Dating shows, not so much.
So, but I may be the only one of you that's actually been on a reality TV show.
Oh,
do tell.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if you know, I don't know if you know this story or not.
I don't think you're the type of person who you will bring something up that you think everybody knows. By the way, I lived in Germany for 2 years. What?
I mean, Christ almighty. Like, how do you even fit all this
Okay,
in?
so I was on Top Chef. And you can, like, literally see me on Top Chef.
Wait, I feel like I do know this.
Yeah, go for it.
You were not an actual contestant.
No, yeah, I was a contestant.
No, but you were... No, I mean, like...
She's secretly a
You were... If I'm remembering correctly, you were not a contestant, and you were also not in good form.
No, I was not even remotely sober.
Oh, my God. Leah,
okay, I do remember this story.
Okay,
this is good.
So I'm just going to give the story short because it is funny. So... Okay, there's a little preamble, but one of my best friends is this wonderful gay man. I've known him forever. And he had a bad breakup, and he had tickets to go to Maui with the person that he had the bad breakup with. And he was like, fuck it. Do you just want to come with me? And I was like, hell yes, I do. So me and him went to Maui. I left my family behind and was like, I'm going to live my best life as like being your like
plus one.
Then he was like, where should we stay? Because I can like book anywhere. And so I picked a hotel, and it was like a hotel that's nice, but maybe a little past its prime. Like maybe it had a reputation, but like was kind of like a little old. So we were like, would go out like, woo, let's like party in the hotel. And then it was like, everyone's fucking like 75. And so we ended up at like this bar down the street called like the Monkey Pot or something. And so one night we were outside, and this like guy who also, was gay came up and started kind of like hitting on my friend. And he was like, I'm a producer on this show. Like, we're filming it. I can't really, it's all hush hush. But, you know, if you want to be on it, like, to come tomorrow at like 6 a.m. at the nice hotel next door. That was like the fancy hotel that like we both were like, fuck, we should have stayed there. And so I was like, I kind of want to do it. And he's like, no, it's probably going to be like porn. And I was like, no, I think it'll be awesome. We should do it. And he was like, yeah. So we went to bed and then we woke up, but it's like Hawaii time, like 3 hours, you know, so we were on like, you know, mainland time. So I woke up and was like, fuck it, let's like go see what the show is. And he was like, fine. So we like go over to this thing. And as we walk inside, I'm like, it's Top Chef. Like, I actually like sometimes watch Top Chef.
I love Top Chef.
Yeah. And so we go in, we're the only white people because they've like recruited all these awesome like Maui like tourism folk to like be on the show. And so they're looking at us, and I've lived in Hawaii, so like I get it. Like I walk in, I'm like, we look like the haole tourists that have like rung in, which is absolutely what we are. And like these locals are like, what the fuck? And my friend is so charming that within 15 minutes he was like, I swear they were almost ready to carry him around on their shoulders as he like he was like the most popular person there. So we like got in fast. And then they just started giving us alcohol. And it's like 7 a.m.
Oh my God.
And like it was like free booze, no food. So for Top Chef, I was like, we're going to eat some good shit, no food, nothing. Just like really good beer and like some sort of fruity cocktail. And I was hungry. And I thought we were going to be inside doing whatever we were doing. So they roll us all outside. Like Padma Lakshmi is like outside under an umbrella sipping a Diet Coke. The guy who was hitting on my friend was holding the Diet Coke while she sipped out of it.
Oh my
he
God.
was like her bitch.
Amazing.
And then they all set up, and it was like a quick fire challenge where they're like, we're going to cook Spam. Like, everyone's going to cook Spam because it's Hawaii. And then we were supposed to be like the Hawaiian, like, party that was like mingling around while they were doing it. And at this point, I'd been there like 2.5, 3 hours, and I was fucking hammered. And we were now outside, and I had no sunscreen on. So I also got really bad sun poisoning. And I remember, like, being like, okay, we want to be on TV, and what we need to do is do, like, a lot of, like, we were, like, my friend Chris was like, you just say peas and carrots and pretend like you're talking to each other. He's like, always just be engaged in deep conversations, nod your head, and the camera will, like, find us. Which it totally does if you find the episode. So we're all like peas and carrots, like walking around. And at this point, I'm like almost hallucinating. And then they like give the announcement of the winner. And I remember standing there and my entire vision like tunneled down and like went like stars. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking pass out like in front of Padma Lakshmi standing here. And so I like backed up and I ended up behind a quick fire challenge station. And when I got to the back, there was, like, mayonnaise and, like, nasty shit. And I just, like, laid down in all of it. Like a nasty little, like, piece of Spam myself. I was like, I'm so... And there was, like, a bottle of water somebody'd been drinking. And I was like, I don't care. I'm drinking this water. My friend found me, like, so sunburned, curled up in, like, mayonnaise behind the quick fire challenge station, holding this bottle of water like a baby bottle, like, whoa! And he had to find a golf cart to take me back to the hotel, because I couldn't even walk.
Oh my God!
Oh my God. And then the whole next day, he was like, I fucking hate you. Because I was like, I can't do any. Like, I was like, I'm like, I am sick. I'm hungover. Right. I am like burned all over. And he was like, what the fuck? So anyway.
I smell like mayonnaise.
Yeah, I think the episode is called Maui Wowie.
Okay, I'm looking it up on YouTube. I can't fucking wait.
And
oh my God, Leah.
Yeah, so that's that. I just know that like at one point you can see me like standing in this crowd, and then when the camera pans back, I'm gone. Because at that point I'd been like, I'm gonna pass out, and I literally did just pass out. So anyway, that was a long story.
My God. Oh my God, I'm like crying.
Okay.
Well, one day on the pod I'll tell a story about how I was in a commercial, but that'll be for another time.
All right. Well, here's one thing as writers that we can say is that, you know, dating shows lean in hard to the idea of archetypal characters. So, you know, we have teacher Amy here who may not have watched any of these lowbrow dating shows, but she does know what archetypal characters are. So, teacher Amy, what do we mean when we talk about character archetypes?
An archetype is like an emotion, a character type, or an event that is notably recurrent across the human experience. So in the arts, an archetype creates an immediate sense of familiarity, allowing an audience member to relate to an event or character without having to necessarily ponder why they relate. Like, you just kind of get it. You connect. I would say, like, some examples, like from K-dramas that we've been, getting used to is like, you turn on a K-drama and you see that you meet the hero and he's a chaebol. Like, right away when you see a chaebol hero that there are going to be issues with intimacy, that money is probably going to be a big reason why he can't be with the heroine because she's going to be, this super scrappy poor person. And you have this like immediate familiarity with them. Same thing if you've got, like an heiress, or like if the scrappy poor girl, is the heroine, or overprotective parents, the plucky best friend, I know you guys have finished. I'm still watching Our Beloved Summer.
Oh, no, I haven't finished.
Oh, you haven't finished yet. Okay. So, we all love Our Beloved Summer, and we've got like that awesome best friend character that as soon as she walked on screen, like I knew, like, oh, she's going to be like sort of the highlight of this show as far as like the comic relief, lightening things up, and you just know that character. That's an archetype.
Yeah, and people can kind of be like, cliches, but again, it's like ties into that idea of universal fantasy that we always keep coming back to lately, where sometimes there's just things that happen that feel comforting. And I think, yeah, archetypal characters often do that for us.
Agree.
So, okay, Megan, what were your expectations going into this show?
So I actually wasn't sure what this was going to be, and a part of me wondered if I was actually going to see like a different side of dating in Korea than what K-dramas present to us. But I have to admit, it really wasn't that much different. They still talked about what their ideal type was, like, all the time. They worried about burdening each other with their feelings, and there was, like, zero raciness. I would say the only difference was that all of them seemed, like, way more eager to shed their clothes into, like, tiny bikinis or small swim trunks. Like, everyone on the show was, like, just incredibly attractive. So, and I just have to say shout out to Hye Jun for having a body that I absolutely coveted. She pranced around in bikinis and tight skirts the whole show. She had this one like green skirt that I was like, good Lord, honey, that makes your butt look amazing. I wanted to go to paradise with her, is all I'm saying.
I mean, she had a butt that I just honestly wanted to just bounce quarters off of.
Oh, amazing. They did do like a couple like zoom ins on her butt while she was like laying on her stomach in the sand, and I was like, I would watch a whole show of her butt.
Yeah, it was its own drama, really.
Right.
And yeah, for me, the only thing that made me slightly intrigued, which is maybe why I pushed go on it, was my sister told me that they had a date where, the dude and the lady put on sheet masks, like they did the mask packs. And yeah. I was like, what the hell? So like, wholesome. So wholesome. Like, so into self-care. Like, good for you. Let's just, like, anytime we can take, like, a little bit of just cut a little bit down on that toxic masculinity, I'm into it. So that was actually what made me say yes, even though, like, most of me was, like, saying no and hating myself.
Yeah.
So, Amy, we had you check out the trailer for this. So you haven't watched it, but we did think, pop onto Netflix.
Sure.
So what intrigues you about this trailer?
Honestly, nothing. Other than it being a Korean show, which is my preference for entertainment media, but like that's how much I just like dating shows are not for me. So you still have a lot of convincing to do.
I mean, okay, fair. Look, I saw the trailer too. Did not leave. I mean, I'm not going to die on this hill. So
I mean, honestly, the trailer for it, like if that was all I had to go on and not listening to you to, sort of love on the show, if it was just a trailer, the trailer to me did not differentiate from any like American dating show. Like the trailer was very Bachelor to me.
Yeah, I very much agree with that.
So in broad strokes, Lia and Megan try to explain to me what was different about this show versus American dating shows. No spoilers, but I would like to point out that I've never truly watched an American dating show like The Bachelor, like never watched like a whole episode the whole way through because they've never enticed me. So you're going to have to work extra hard to explain the difference to get me to see it since I don't even watch the Western ones.
First, let me start off by saying that like in the good old days of like the first reality dating shows, kind of like the real world, a lot of the contestants were just like regular people. Like they were like school teachers and shit, you know? So sure, there were likely some like aspiring actors and models, but getting rich off of social media presence wasn't like the main objective. That wasn't even really a thing when reality dating shows started.
There was no internet.
Yeah, there was
I mean, like, there was maybe internet, but there was, like, no social media.
Right. So it was, like, just kind of, I don't know, there were, like, people with actually, like, semi, you know, pure intentions. But now on American dating reality shows, it's really all models and Instagram influencers who are often on the shows to play a character and then use that character on their social media for follows. So now on to Singles Inferno. Most of these were some sort of social media types. They were like dancers or models or fitness gurus or something like that. And some have said, I've watched some interviews with them, and they have said that a lot of them are contacted like through their Instagrams by like the show's producers asking them to be on. But the reality show landscape of Korea is so much different because I didn't see these people really playing into stereotypes the way that American contestants do. And I didn't even really feel like the show edited them into strict stereotypes like I expected it to. And I thought that, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but there was like this addition of these 4 commentators who were essentially watching the show along with us. It felt like I was watching, you know, a show with my friends because they were there. They would sympathize with the characters, and just overall they made it feel more wholesome rather than sleazy. And the dating conventions in this show were still very conservative. There was like a kiss on a cheek, and that was like a big deal that she gave him a kiss on the cheek. At one point, a couple slept side by side, and that was like a huge deal. But that was about like as racy as it got. And I remember like Joe Millionaire.
Oh God.
Back in like the early 2000s, that edited sound effects over a like black screen to make it sound like the woman was giving the male bachelor oral, and she wasn't. And the show edited it to make it that way, which is just terrible. Early 2000s were a wild time. And then we have, you know, Singles Inferno, and they were just playing up this cheek kiss that was like really a mere peck, but they played it up and it was just really cute. So usually when I finish watching American dating shows, I just like kind of feel icky. But Singles Inferno was really sweet. And at the end, they were like reminiscing about their time on the island and all they learned and the friends they made. And it was just,
yeah, it was very much like the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, it was like, this was a great summer at camp.
Like were the women friends with each other?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And they had like nice friendships. There was actually like zero cattiness.
So that to me sounds wholly different than anything I would expect from American.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's always the women fighting in like American shows, where this was very much like Soyeon and Yewon had like the cutest friendship. Like I wanted them to go to paradise together and eat
delicious
good food and together because they were so sweet. They had such a nice friendship.
Yeah, and I'm curious, like, if how those choices came up, because I do think some of the characters that they introduced. So one thing that they did as well. So here's a few things. Like the premise was you're on this island called Inferno or whatever, and it's just like they acted like it was hell, but it was just like a tropical, beautiful island.
Yeah, it was like,
and
not
there was
bad.
like an entire like bunker cabin where you could like curl your hair and put on makeup. Like it was not a hardship, really, but you know, whatever. I will say people didn't dress for the outdoors. Like it was kind of like, you know, we were coming off the streets of Seoul in terms of fashion. And one thing that was really, I think, like really made it just not as gross was I realized how gross hosts are. They just always look like, I mean, there's a vibe on like a reality TV show host that's usually not a good vibe. And it means that like I would not want to leave my drink near them anywhere. And so there was no host for this. Like there was kind of like a disembodied voice that would, you know, guide contestants to come and do things. And it sounds like a small thing, but it actually made a very big difference to not have that. And it almost, and I'm saying this even though this was manufactured AF, it almost harkened back to that kind of real world early day vibe where there was nothing like that. You were just kind of like a camera fly on the wall. This was not a fly on the wall. It obviously, you know, was pretty slick, but without the host, it made a big difference.
I agree. I forgot about that. There was no like set host.
And then you would compete in challenges and do, choose people to go to Paradise with. And Paradise was like some nice ass hotel where you'd like go and spend the night with them and eat delicious food and wear your mask packs and hang out in the pool. But
they almost always spent the night in separate bedrooms. Like in this hotel room, there was separate bedrooms, and they almost always spent the night in separate.
And they acted like, oh my God, it's so nice to get a break from that, like, hellish tropical paradise that I've been on for like, a day and a half. And now I can come to this other place. So, it was a little silly, but whatever. Mm-hmm. But you had the idea of like, they would go and get rewarded by getting intimate somewhere else. And, this is something that I do want to talk about is, yes, I think people were like more whole people presented. Definitely these people were on to like get a lot of their like Instagram influencer, social media careers going. Like that's definitely was like a thing. And we've seen that since the shows ended. And they weren't as cliche as I would say Western shows are in terms of like the bad girl and like the man whore. But I think that there were archetypes that existed. So I kind of want to go through the main cast and just kind of break them down for you.
And I agree with these. I do.
Here's one other thing, is just a caveat. You don't know what they do for a living. They're not allowed to disclose that until they go to Paradise. And then they can like tell whoever they're with like what they really do for like their day job.
And their ages. So that's another thing. Obviously in Korea, that's a big deal because they weren't using necessarily honorifics with each other because they didn't know ages.
Yes. Good point. So, okay, we have Jia, the YouTube star and Instagram influencer, and she's a little bit of a femme fatale. Basically, like, the dudes are into the Jia in a big way. And she's kind of perfected this innocent virgin, like, high-end innocence, but, like, really, she knows her way around a D shtick.
She knew how to work a man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, you knew that, like, she could take that down all the way. And she knew they knew, but you'd still be, like, plausible deniability. So then we have Hye Jun. And this bad boy was literally a boy band backup dancer and a giant chest titty owner. Like, his chest was so
massive
big.
Pectorals.
Oh, just so big. Like,
I would have hit him and just like bounced off like a bumper car.
And kind of a knuckle dragger, really.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, but quiet. Like, not like bro, but like quiet bro, definitely bro. And all this dude wanted was like Jia shoved down his pants. He like could not stop. Then we get to like our girl Anya Won, who's sassy, flirty, funny, Pilates instructor, great butt. And she's the girl like everyone wants to be friends with. And she's the girl who somehow just gets, like, friend-zoned by all the men there, even though literally her ass is 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
And everyone's just like, oh, she's so wacky. I'm like, dude.
No, she's like the most fun.
The most fuckable, the most everything. Like, most fuckable. So then we have Choi Si-hun. And I don't know, this bro is like small, kind of emo, a little bit of like a Disney prince, but like in a sad way. And he was like a model / actor. If we go like Zoolander, he was really like a slashy vibe. And he was kind of sort of a bitch a little bit. And surprisingly, he was 30. So I think he was like one of the older ones, but he looked like 20.
He was the CEO of something. Let me just say that all of these people were CEOs of something. Yeah. It was hysterical.
He was like CEO of his living room, basically. Yeah. Okay, so then we have God. Living room. Okay. We have Kang So-yeon. So she was also pretty rad. So she was like sporty AF. She was like this Amazon, just like tall, buff, hot, and she owns like a boxing hit gym. She was a former idol. She's strong, independent, and you might find her lounging away in the afternoon just reading a prayer book, because that's what she would do, is just sit and funsily relax with her prayer book. However, enter stage left with Oh-jin Taek, the menswear store owner and chest hair enthusiast. So he had just so much hair. Like, when he first showed up, he had, like, a trimmed beard, and everyone's like, ooh, he gives off American vibes.
Yeah, that's the one I mentioned in a previous podcast, that they were like, oh, I think he's Korean-American.
Right. So, I mean, like, I'm not sure what that says, like...
But he wasn't, right?
No, he was not. And he not only had a lot of chest hair, like more than the average anyone, he shaved it into a triangle.
It was a weird shape, I will admit.
That's an odd choice.
I think he shaved it, right?
That's an odd choice.
I mean, maybe it naturally...
I mean, that was a weird shape. I don't know. Maybe he didn't, but he definitely trimmed his, like, beard. Like, he had a very...
His beard was nice, though.
His beard was nice. I liked it.
But the chest hair was long. Like, you could lose... you could, like, lose a small cat in it.
Yeah.
And he had, like, kind of like a simmering sexual charge.
He did.
Okay. Then we have poor Kim Jun-suk, who, I mean, like, good for Kim Jun-suk. Like, he was a health food owner and friend. Like, nobody was looking to get with Jun-suk, which is kind of weird because he was, like, not unattractive, but he literally, Amy would have been, like, Steve Sanders from 90210. Like, that was the vibe he played in, like, the entire... Yeah, no. He was just there. And then...
His personality was a 2. His personality was a 2.
Such a good comparison. Oh, my God. Poor Steve Sanders. We're sorry, Ian Ziering.
Yeah.
Because, of course, I know his name in real life.
Yeah. And being put up against Jason Priestley and Luke Perry, like, ugh. Okay. So, then we have somebody who entered late. So, they had these characters that would, like, pop in, like, towards, like, the end of the episode. Like, towards the end, like, there were multiple episodes, and all of a sudden they're like, a new player. And one of these was Cha Hyun-sung. I mean, he had a big cross, so... take that as you will, but I mean, he brought straight up fuckboy with tats energy.
He did.
And he was another backup dancer who was actually friends with Kim Hye Jun, but clearly was brought in to cock block everything.
He was so, God, it's so great.
Okay. Then we go to somebody who problematic, but I really enjoyed, who was Moon Se-ho. I had such a soft spot for Se-ho. And he was the Gangnam restaurant owner. He would step in to be a chef so his staff could take vacation. And I would say that they really, like, shaped him to be the love protagonist. So he just has this, like, long game passion for Shin Ji-yeon, who is kind of like the brainy girl next door. She's cute. She's small. I don't know. She just kind of seemed like the ideal image of Korean feminism or something, you know, just kind of like pretty and
soft kind of like she wore soft clothes.
Yes. Yeah. And then we find out that she's at University of Toronto as a neuroscience, like PhD or some shit. Like she's like super
crazy.
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we pop over to Kim Soo-min, who was a random character they just, like, basically just dumped off on the island, like, at the very end of the drama. I forget literally everything about her, except she was, like, I think cute, and she liked cardigans.
She dressed like Delia's from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely, like, these, like rib shirts with, like, tiny flower prints, like, all in pastels, and, yeah, she loved cardigans.
And
she had dimples.
Yes. I mean, I just don't remember her doing anything. And then we
she
had
didn't do anything.
Sung Min-ji, who kind of, if there was going to be a villain, I felt like they tried to kind of give her a little bit of a villainous character. Yeah, she was also just
she was too nice, though.
Dumped in, but kind of had like that classic henchman vibe of she was kind of after Se-ho, but Se-ho was on his own love journey. So they would kind of like put her in there.
It's a love journey.
So that's the cast, Amy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. And I love that I love the descriptions. I love that you have like sort of an archetype for everybody and that they throw some wrenches into the plan towards the end of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Because it was, how many episodes? 8?
Yeah, it was very short.
Or 6. It was really short. So some of the people I thought they threw in like too late.
Yeah, I felt like it was too short to have the people thrown in because, like I said, it was like then these 2 random girls that we were just like, what? No, we're just more of the cute butt. Like, I don't know why.
Make them stay on that freaking island for a month. Like,
yeah, that was the other thing. Like, their timeline was pretty. I was like,
it was so condensed. Yeah.
Okay, so if you could take one person yourself to paradise, who is hopping in the helicopter with you? Because that's how you get to paradise. And if you're married, you get a hall pass. Not married, you know,
I make my own rules.
You make your own rules.
So my own rules say that. So from I chose South Korea and the U.S. just because I've got one in each. So from South Korea, Gong Yoo. From the U.S., Chris Evans. But since I'm not married and don't need a hall pass, I'm allowing myself to take both. Thank you.
Thank you. I followed Amy, so I did South Korea, which would be Ji Chang-wook. Hello. And then from the U.S., well, Tom Hardy is not American, But
You didn't
whatever.
have to do it from the U.S., though. I just said U.S.
I know.
You could have just said Tom Hardy.
Okay, from anywhere else, I would have choose Tom Hardy.
I mean, fair. So, okay, for me, look, not an actor, but just someone who's been doing it for me lately, I'd go with Suga from BTS. He could go to Paradise and just literally, like, walk on me, and I'd be fine.
I would say in stilettos.
No, I don't want to see Suga in stilettos, but he could just, like, take me there, and, like, I don't even care. I don't care what happens.
Maybe red leather Doc Martens.
Yeah, actually, yes, probably.
That would be hot.
So, yeah, whatever he needs to do, I support him. And then, I don't know, you know what? I'm on, like, a dirty thing. I would choose Adam Driver, because no one brings the dirty like Adam Driver.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good choice.
yeah.
I like it.
If I'm going to... Yeah, and I mean, like, ideally, can I choose both? Because that would just be, like, a lot of just, like, whatever. I'd leave, like, all, like, crazy.
I haven't gotten on the Adam Driver train yet, but...
Oh, he's just so filthy.
I don't have the lust that Leah does, but I get the attraction. I do.
He's just really confident with what he's working with.
Yes, he is.
And he's, like, strange looking, but also just, like, magnetically hot. But confidence. I mean, confidence, like, when you're really just fucking confident, yeah.
It works.
That does a
it
lot.
works.
It works.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this show, they also did some wacky physical challenges. Like, we're going to dig a hole in the sand.
No.
All the dudes are going to go in the sand hole that has water in it. And we're going to now try to, like, hurl each other out of this watery sand hole.
I would be in the sand hole forever then, because I have, like, zero upper body strength. So, like, I would be... So you do not want me trying to hurl you out of a sand hole.
I do have to talk to the person who designed the games. They were the most half-assed
They really were.
games.
They were so half-assed.
Like, was it in, like, who designed these? Like an intern's little brother? Because
Really?
they were so bad. At one point, they just made them just be, like, just stand in the ocean, just like, you know, waist deep, maybe. And then they had to run to the shore and grab a flag. That's it. That was the game.
That was the whole
like,
game.
and whoever got there first won. And I was like,
So that's called a race.
like, yeah.
And they're like, they're so fast.
Yeah, they're so fast.
Like, I'm
And I
off
was
to
like, this is the
paradise,
most-
bitches.
And they tried to, like, be really dramatic about it. Like, they shot it really dramatically. There was, like, slow-mo when someone fell, and I was like, it's a race where someone fell. Like, this is really bad. And then literally they just built a pit in the sand, and they put all the men in it, and they're like, okay, just, like, wrestle each other out of it. Last man in the pit wins. And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Which, first of all, someone could get really injured doing that. No one came up with a better game than just, like, throwing 5 men in a pit.
Yeah.
Like, it was
And then they
so
did chicken
terrible.
fighting where they had, like, the girls and the guys back, and then they had to, like, rip each other's hats off.
Even that was, I was like, come on.
Yeah, no,
Like,
nothing.
Watch,
None of this was good.
Yeah, watch, like, 3 episodes of Survivor, and you'll come up with better games, for God's sakes.
Yeah, so what is a physical challenge you'd excel at, and what would you fail at?
So, I mean, I can't fathom these challenges. So, I mean, anything that requires endurance, and I mean, I don't mean that in a dirty way, but anything that, I mean, maybe I
But
do.
you do.
But I do. Anything that requires endurance, I think I'd be okay at, because I can, like, if I work out, I can work out for a long time. But, like I was just saying, anything that requires, like, brute, like, upper body strength, like, forget it. Like, I'm an epic fail. Like, I don't have me, like, try and climb a rope or, you know, try to do one pull-up. Like, it's not gonna fucking be pretty. But yeah, I could probably run out of the ocean and grab a flag.
I know, so bad. I mean, I would say I'm the same way. I have no, like, my upper body strength is really bad, so that would probably be something I'd fail at. I guess anything I'd excel at is, like, anything that requires, like, a small frame, like, a small body. Like, I don't know, like, who can fit in a suitcase? Like, I would win. Who can survive in a pit of kittens? I would.
Oh,
do that
I would
as well.
no, actually, I would. That would kill me
Yeah.
if I didn't have an allergy pill.
Yeah, I'd want them all home.
Oh my god. So, I mean, pretty much anything that requires even, like, basic coordination, like, I'm done. Like, I just lost immediately.
Leah would be at the snack tent in mayonnaise.
Yeah, I mean, I just am very
She's like, I could slather myself in mayonnaise and lay down.
No, I think I could come through with it enduring, but in a different way. Like if it was just enduring something unpleasant for a long time, I think I could probably like go into like the zone and like.
Could you? Speaking of mayonnaise, I'm on a mayonnaise kick because I think mayonnaise is disgusting. I'm sorry, anybody who likes it. I'm not yucking your yum. I don't like mayonnaise. But could you like lay down in like a baby pool of mayonnaise and just kind of chill there?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh my god, yeah. I will say I could do anything like the Fear Factor. Oh, I forgot I used to watch Fear Factor, even though Joe Rogan's kind of terrible. But if you put me in a like tank full of snakes, I'd be okay.
We know how you feel about snakes.
Yeah,
I'm not scared.
I wouldn't like.
Yeah, you know I love snakes.
I don't like snakes. I could handle spiders.
No,
I could sit in like a thing with spiders crawling all over me, and like, I could like check out. I could just go to another place.
I don't think I could do. See, that's the thing. I don't know. Spiders are still not. If they were like tarantulas, that I think tarantulas.
No, spiders just don't bother me that much, but snakes bother me.
Yeah, no. If you ever just like sit in this pool of snakes, I'd be like, done.
I'll pay for the experience.
I'd be like, can I pet them?
All right, so weirdo, if you were going on a desert island and somehow could sit and do a trick and get to go to a 5-star hotel and order delicious food, what's one dish getting ordered? I will say that on the show, it was steak. They were, oh my God, they were eating the shit out of some steak.
So much steak. When they got to Paradise, they would just order like vast amounts of steak. not steak on the mind. Steak and pasta.
For me, it would be seared ahi tuna. That's my go-to.
So fascinating, though, from going from a desert island to ordering seafood.
But that's what I want.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If I go from like a beach, like I want seafood. I'd want like lobster, crabs, except I'm spoiled, and I'd want blue crabs because I live near Maryland. Like scallops. Oh, just tons of seafood.
Yeah, I'm not a big steak person, so even if they're making me eat, whatever, like kind of crap fish, if I don't know how they ate on the show. Like, did they
actually? That's a great thing to get into. So finish your question, and we'll talk a little about the food because the food was actually a big part.
As far as the food thing, like you mentioned, like you're surprised that I would want seafood after being on an island. I don't know what they ate there, so I'm just telling you what I would like. But even being on an island, I think it's going to be different what they're making us sort of like scavenge for ourselves compared to going to a 5-star hotel and having somebody prepare for me a nice cut of ahi.
Yeah, exactly. Like I want someone to cook me. This is the thing. I can make a steak pretty well myself. But I am not the best at seafood, like at cooking it. I wish I was. I'm like trying to be better. So ordering seafood out,
it's always
I like
better
to order
when
seafood
somebody
out.
makes it for you.
Yeah, because if it's like a good chef cooking seafood, they know how to cook it, and yeah.
I don't know what I would do. Like, part of me feels like I would just like want ice cream or something.
At a 5-star hotel, you're going to be like, give me a scoop of Ben and Jerry's.
No, I would like fancy. I'm just thinking like,
what's
I've been at the
fancy
beach.
ice cream?
I mean,
like hand churned,
yeah,
or
like
something?
Made by like monks who've taken a vow of silence. Some of the best ice cream I've had.
The only noise they make is the rolling of the ice cream barrels.
Yeah, I mean, I want the bougie ass ice cream. Somebody like harvested
They're
vanilla
just,
beans,
sitting on this like wooden floor, like rolling these huge barrels.
Barefoot.
So the best ice cream I've ever had, fun fact, was just like across the bridge from San Francisco, and like bougie fucking rich ass hippie place, and it was really, really good vanilla bean ice cream that was clearly made by people taking a vow of silence and like devoted their life to the craft. And then it was like drenched in a really lovely olive oil and then covered with like a little sprinkling of salt.
That's interesting.
And it was really good. That's what I would like.
There's a local ice cream shop near me that my grandmother would always get, but I hated that ice cream with every ounce of my being. It was like grainy. Like you would eat it and it was like there's like sand in it. Yeah, I feel like it ruined ice cream for me, and that's till this day I don't love ice cream. Ugh. Like if you put like ice cream and like cheese in front of me, hands down I would have the cheese. Like, I actually don't usually eat ice cream
I will
at all.
never say no to ice cream. Ever.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Grandma. You ruined it for me.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Grandma.
Ice cream's definitely one of my favorite sweets.
Yeah, well, so on the island, they had to make their own food. That was the thing. And they rarely had a protein. So they usually had to, other than like eggs. So they usually had eggs, and they had to make rice. I mean, they were able to like make decent stuff just because they had that chef who ended up having to make all the food. But they weren't.
But they were making like good cabbage soup. Like they were like getting into it. Like I felt like they were like making reasonably.
They still
healthy.
had like 5 side dishes.
Yeah,
I was like,
fuck it. The side
you put Americans in there, and we would have made.
I would have just walked around eating the cabbage like an apple.
They would have just poured like dry rice in their mouths. Like none of them would have made side dishes.
Yeah, it would have been real. Like if they gave that food like it was like a pile of sweet potatoes.
Oh my god!
People would have just died. I mean, I know my way around a sweet potato for sure, but I would say you take some of these folks, and I just think that like you would find their dead bodies with the sweet potatoes piled next to them.
They'd be buried under the pile of sweet potatoes.
But I do really want to take just a brief moment to like offer just sincere appreciation to the hosts.
These are the ones that I mentioned. Yeah, so they were like the commentators that essentially were watching it in real time. Like, you know, they would like take a break sometimes from a scene, and you could tell that they were like watching the edited show as well. You know what I mean? And then they'd like react to the scene, and they'd be like, "Oh, that, you know, poor Sehun."
Oh my god!
You know
so,
what I mean?
so Kyu-hyun like killed me the whole time because he was just so cute and hilarious. But you know, he had his little like cue cards that he would hold, and they would like flip to him, and he'd be like hiding under his cue cards during like the really cringy moments where there, you know, just stuff's going on that's like really embarrassing. And I don't know, they were just fun. So it was a model and actor, Lee Da-hee, then it was Kyu-hyun, and then a comedian, Hong Jin-kyung, and then rapper Han Hae. They just were like, I don't know, I was like, I would totally just like to hang with you all. You're just fun and nice people. So there was just like this element of like weird wholesomeness to the entire thing. So even though, yes, it was manufactured, something like there was something there that was like a real emotion, even though like I didn't really think it was there for like love or anything like that. There was just something nice in it.
Yeah. I also want to mention Hong Ji-kyung, the comedian. She is also an actress, and she was in My Love from the Star. She was like the bookstore owner.
Yes.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, she was my favorite commentator. I loved her so much.
She's the bookstore, like the comic shop owner, right? In My Love from the Star. So she is also the homeless woman in Legend of the Blue Sea who befriends Jun Ji-hyun as the mermaid. So they are like a really great pair together.
Right, and we mentioned that in our female friendships pod. It's because one of our Patreons brought it up. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
And we're just going to step aside for a minute and sneak in one of our favorite parts of every episode, which is our K-pop rec of the week. Megan, what do you got?
So this week I'm going to recommend JIKJIN by Treasure. It is really, really catchy. Kind of the Facebook group I'm in that's like has a lot of K-pop fans have been talking about it. Treasure's a really popular group, and so JIKJIN is, I think it's roughly translated to like go straight to you if you look at like the video. So yeah, that's basically it. Super catchy. I love listening to it. It's been on my playlist this week, so check it out. JIKJIN by Treasure.
If you enjoy our podcast, you have our patrons to thank, at least in part. Afternoona Delight Patreon allows us to keep creating content for y'all to enjoy. Thank you so much to everyone who is supporting us there. And not to brag, but our Patreon community is pretty awesome, and you can join at a tier that feels good to you. Gain access to fun perks like K-drama posts, monthly Patreon-only bonus podcasts, and even a live K-drama support group on Zoom. Because we know firsthand what it's like to have no one to talk to about those crazy plot twists, amazing characters, and all those feelings. And look, no one should have to walk that walk alone. So learn more by visiting afternoonadelight.com. That's www.afternoonadelight.com. www.afternoonadelight.com. And hey, while you're on the website, you can check out Afternoona Delight podcast merch, find links to book recommendations, bop along to our K-pop recs, glow up your skin with K-merch recs, find all of our social media, and a link to our email so you can send us recommendations or feedback. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you pop over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review? It really helps with our discoverability. 감사합니다. So, Megan, did any of the guys have, or girls, have any good one-liners that stuck with you? And then Amy, while Megan's thinking of that, have you gotten any really just like great pickup lines on a dating app?
So as I've mentioned before, I am the one on the pod who is divorced and dating in her 40s, which is oh so fun. And fairly recently, I matched with a guy on, I think it was Tinder, and he was a few years younger than me. Cute. He swiped right on me. I swiped right on him. And I got the message of, you are a miffle in every sense of the word.
Miffle. That's cute.
M-I-F-L, yes. And so at first I was like, are the kids using some other acronym these days that I don't know about? Do I not know what a miffle is and I should? No, he put the letters in the wrong order, because I did.
Oh! So it wasn't even cute. Like, I was like, oh, a miffle. You're my miffle.
No. So it's... he just spelled it wrong.
He just struck out.
He struck out. So I replied with, do you mean...
withering.
Very withering. Super fucking withering. Because so I replied with, do you mean MILF? If so, thank you for the compliment, but I am not DTF. I'm actually looking for a relationship, but I appreciate the thought and good luck, on your journey. And he unmatched me, which was all fine and good.
Oh, that was just like, thank you and good day, sir.
Yes. Thank you, next. But yeah, miffle. So that's I'm a miffle, you guys. I don't know if you knew that.
Miffle.
Yeah, I'm a miffle.
I love a miffle. That's so cute.
God, how embarrassing is that he spelled it wrong? Oh, God, that's so great. What do you think, Leo? Would you have any favorite lines?
I don't remember any lines, actually. I felt like there was just like this general earnestness among a few of them where they would just like kind of like lay out like their thoughts and feelings.
So like it wasn't like cheesy lines. Like they were actually, did they feel more sincere to you than...
I mean, I want to like set some expectations that like I'm not ridiculous. Like I understand what this was and like what this show was, but there was just this element of wholesome sweetness that like existed. So I didn't feel like everyone, like I think everyone was pretty knowing that there was a camera there. I think everyone was knowing like how they needed to show themselves. I guess maybe what it is how they needed to show themselves in order to like be seen as attractive and interesting was more likable and less just like disgusting, like knuckle dragging alpha hole.
Right. I would say one of my favorite conversations was between Jaewon and Hyung Sung. So he had won the whole wrestling thing. Okay, so he was able to go to Paradise. And since he was new there, basically the women were like, so sweet. They're like, let's all take turns talking to him. So Jaewon was so cute and flirty with him. And they were talking about like what their interests and they to see what they had in common. And he was like, I really love water sports. And she's like, oh, I do too. And then she's like, and you know what I really like? Swimming in pools and nice hotels. Like she's like trying to get to take her to Paradise. And it was so freaking charming because she said it in a self-aware way. Like she was joking. She was attempting to be charming, and I think she like totally nailed it. I was like, honey, I would have taken you to Paradise in a heartbeat.
I feel like we're just like totally harassing this poor woman.
I know, but she really was sweet. Like I wanted to hang out with her as like a friend. I thought she seemed really fun. She had like the best personality. But anyway, so I would say like that was kind of one of my favorite lines. So even though it wasn't like one of the men, I just thought she was really sweet.
All right, so, I don't know if we've really sold Amy at this point, but why don't we just wrap this up with, like, one favorite moment from the show?
Yeah, so I don't know if these are necessarily favorite moments, but these are, like, moments that I just think about all the time. And one is, so they had to in order to get water, okay, this was, like, one of the hardships they had. They had to, like, walk to the water jugs with this, like like a yoke thing, you know what I mean? Like on their shoulders with the buckets. They had to fill up the water and walk back. So of course, like Hye Jun is like carrying it on his shoulders, and Gia's like, "Oh, your veins! I love men with veins." And it was like the weirdest thing ever, because I was like, first of all, we all have veins, and second of all, like it's just weird that is like your thing. That's okay if you have a vein kink, but it was just like really weird because it was one of the first things she said to like any of the guys, and I just thought it was really funny. I like Gia too. I thought she was great, but I just thought that was a weird moment. And then poor Sehun, who like, him and his absolute like de-evolution into like Simpville, following Gia around, even when she was like doing a one-on-one with another guy, he was like following like 15 yards behind, and it was just embarrassing, and I had like major cringe, secondhand embarrassment over that whole situation.
And I'm trying to think, for me, what were some things that like stood out. I think this just doesn't feel super nice, but there was a scene, and I don't want to get into the spoilers of it, but at the end they all had to kind of like do this weird ritualized thing where they like stood on the beach, and then like people could like walk up. Oh yeah, it was like, was it the dudes all stood on the beach?
Oh, the women all stood on the beach, and then the men had to walk and stand in front of the woman he wanted to like
I know, it was like,
and like at that point you knew that like none of these couples were real, like none of them were really that believable, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah, it's been like 4 days maybe.
Yeah.
And actually I did believe the one though, Jin-taek,
and
yeah, they seem real, but I mean, I can't. I mean, like as real as reality TV. I mean, but I believed it. But at the end, Gia had 3 men in front of her.
It was so ridiculous. And freaking Sehun, like the simp, were like, "Buddy, go away."
I know, there was like the one, like the littler dude, and I like little dudes. Like it's fine. Like no shade on it. She was a muscle fangirl.
Yes, very. Very true.
And so you see these two just gnarly, shredded, jacked dudes.
They were. Like they just stood there and their veins bulged,
yeah, I mean,
basically.
It was just like...
And she was into
yeah.
that.
And then there was this like little tiny like 19th century poet.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but it was just, I was like, you shoot that shot, buddy. Shoot the shot. Even if this is all fake, it's entertaining.
Go for it, yeah.
So, I don't know.
And then she didn't, well, I mean, this is kind of the spoiler, but she didn't choose him. We all knew she wasn't going to.
No, but it was just, he was just playing with the big dogs.
He was trying. He was really shooting his shot. Oh man, that's so funny. When he went and stood there, I'm like, buddy. I remember he got like burnt on the first day from cooking rice. So he had like a bandage on his hand like the whole time. I'm like, buddy, God, you're killing me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, Amy. Did we do any convincing?
I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna steer myself away from Our Beloved Summer to do this right now, but it's not a definite no for me.
I think in the right mode. The right mode is
like
good.
like when I need a palate cleanser.
That is when I watched it as well. I watched it as like a palate cleanser, and it was really fun. It's super short, and it just like it goes so fast. Like you're watching the episodes and you're like, oh, it's over, because it's pure entertainment. That's it. You know what I mean? And it's fun to like laugh along, and none of it feels seedy. I think that was like kind of the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I didn't, and I knew it was like silly, but I didn't hate myself when I finished it. I was like,
exactly.
I don't know. I don't really have like the proper words to describe it, but I felt like it was sweet, and I felt like, oh, that was cute.
That's the way I felt too when I was done. I was like, oh, well, that was kind of sweet. I actually feel good about myself when I'm done. That's surprising. So with that said, what are we all watching now?
I mean, I've already said it like 30 times that I'm watching Our Beloved Summer, and I'm kind of...
Listen to that attitude. I'm already saying.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, like, nobody wants to hear from me anymore. Like, I love the show. I had to halt for a trip to New York, and I had 0 time to watch while I was there. So I'm still in the middle of that drama, and I love it.
Well, I am watching it too, because I have been doing lots of things that are not watching drama, but I love it too. And I think I hit episode 11, which I remember Megan being like, episode 11. So
Well, there was just something at the very end that I was like, oh, you better watch.
I just
like,
love
the little epilogue.
this cast. I just love this cast so much. Really, I just love it. I love the music. I love everything about it.
Well, we mentioned the like spunky sidekick played by Park Jin-joo, and honestly, like petition to put her in the lead of a romantic comedy.
I know, she's so good.
And she's been the like spunky sidekick in so many freaking dramas. Like I'm kind of like overseeing her in that role because I want to see her in a lead role because she's so precious. And I just, I love her. So I finished Our Beloved Summer. And
finish something else probably too.
No, I didn't finish anything else. So, and I started Mr. Sunshine. Oh, yeah. So I likely would be done by the time this podcast comes out, but I've been posting on Instagram about it a lot because it's really consuming my life. Let me just put it that way. I love it. I can't stop watching. I send Leah constant DMs about it because Amy has not watched it yet. And when Leah doesn't answer me, I then get angry and I harass her on Twitter because I feel ignored and that I should be a priority in her life. She should be there to soothe my feelings.
Because Megan's day job is watching Mr. Sunshine. And Leah has an actual day job.
I feel like you're like my brat and I'm your dom in this situation.
Yeah. I'm like being a brat because I need attention. But yeah, I'm obsessed with Mr. Sunshine on multiple levels. I'm
so happy. I gotta say.
I mean, that makes me really excited. Yeah, it really does.
Amy, let me just say, okay, so I thought it was going to be a little dry, and it is not. Like 100% not. Like there's humor, there's so much heart. The characters are, there's just so much depth to these characters. This isn't like a spoiler, but like the way the characters' lives are like woven together, I just think you're gonna love it. Like I was nervous. I was like, if I watch this and hate it, Leah might like disown me.
You could never tell her if you hated it. That's the whole thing,
right? But
she would never know.
As Leah said, I would have just like politely endured it if I didn't like it, which is true. But I'm not, and I will not say I like something if I don't. Like I won't. I truly love it. I'm really enjoying it. Like I can't wait to like go watch more episodes. I'm maybe halfway through, a little less than halfway. How many episodes are there again?
23 or 4.
Okay, I'm on like episode 11.
Jesus.
I stay up late. Like I'm up watching. Yeah, it's very consuming, but again, it's not dry. There's so much historical context. I've been really enjoying, like, I'll pause it.
And look up stuff.
And then do, like, Googling because it matches up with real events in history, which is literally my kink. So, like, I'm just, I love it so much.
Yay.
So, that's it. So, Amy, you'll like it. Like, I'm very confident now.
And this is Kim Moon-suk, too, like right? Mr. Sunshine?
Yeah, which, I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm like, she's either, like, on or not.
Right.
And in this case,
is on. Okay.
I mean, I have to be honest, none of her stuff has actually been my favorite. So, whatever she's doing in Mr. Sunshine is hitting me in all the right places. So, I am, that's it. I know I just talked about Mr. Sunshine for, like, 5 minutes, but I can't wait to talk about it on the podcast with the three of us. I think it'll be really, really fun to discuss.
All right. Well, we just managed to talk for a long time about reality dating, which is not something that I thought we were going to ever do on this podcast. But
I thought this would be 45-minute long. It's like an hour and a half. Oh, God.
All right. Well, no, it was lovely to see you all tonight.
Yeah, I know. I missed you guys.
As well.
All right. Till next time.
Annyeong. Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, Kpop and K skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!